All right, I hope you're taking notes like me and all this great new music. We're now up to episode 419, turning into Jim Babwe for some kind of surprise.
Yeah, well, we've talked from time to time about the difference between how we, in our younger days, got new music over the radio, right? So
Yeah.
I did a little search and I found some quite surprising results. And I'm thinking about three radio stations, and they're all three college radio stations, and they're all worth a listen. Um, the first one that I'm going to talk about is KSPC. That's 88.7 FM. And now you don't need to use the radio. You can listen to these stations on the radio. Murray probably couldn't get KSPC from New York, but because they broadcast from Claremont, California, but you can get them online.
Yeah.
And if you're really curious, I mean, I'm looking at their program schedule right now, and one of the interesting programs to me, and I don't listen to this every week, but Skip's Polka Music Variety Show with Skip Svoboda is pretty cool. When I was a kid, I would listen to the Dodger games on the radio, and sometimes I would fall asleep and miss the end of the game. But my radio would still be on in the morning, and if it was on the weekend, it would be Dick Sinclair or Polka Parade. And I'm not a big polka fan, but it's kind of fun to listen to stuff that you wouldn't normally listen to because it's just different. Okay. KSPC also had, and I'm not sure they still do. I'm looking now. They had a guy doing a radio show that was made up of all video game music. And he would announce what game it was. It is electronic stuff. You can kind of duplicate the experience by walking into a casino these days, and you hear all the beeps and blips and stuff. But KSPC is worth a listen. One of the things about it, though, is that the schedule it varies. You don't have a regular FM schedule, for example. You don't have the same DJs Monday through Friday at 8 till noon or 6 to 10. That's different with another radio station that I found, and I actually found this one on the air. I don't know what their broadcast wattage is, but it must be pretty good, pretty powerful. It's 88.5. I don't know the call letters, but they call the radio station the Southern California Sound. I don't know if you've heard it. It's broadcast.
KCSN. I love that station.
Is that KCSN?
It is.
Is that it's 88.5?
That it is. A lot of the
station.
songs that are new on that station are the same songs that I review.
Oh, cool. I will tell you that it's an effort that it's a collaboration between Cal State Northridge and Saddleback College in Orange County. Now, I don't know how they arranged that financially. I know that it's funded by National Public Radio, which means, and the same thing with KSPC. I don't think KSPC is funded by NPR, but no commercials on both of those radio stations, which is a nice relief. Another thing about the KCSN station, the 88.5 FM, they do a really good job of giving airtime to new local bands. And I think that's one of the things that, I miss about listening to old radio. You would get local bands like Rodney on the Rock, for example, Rodney Bingenheimer, when he would introduce new bands. The 88.5 FM station has a more predictable, regular DJ schedule with predictable programs all the way through. But they're really good with playing a combination of old songs that I haven't heard in a long time, but not strictly oldies, and new music that comes out of new groups. And the third one, this is just one DJ from this radio station. You guys have probably heard of Henry Rollins. He does a great radio show, and he's quite the showman, and I think that his kind of edginess is really fun, because you get on every time I listen to a show, and they're all archived and you can listen to all of them. What number is he up to? We're at what? This is 418. We got a lot of catching up to do, because he's up to number 798.
Wow.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Now, what station is he on these days?
That's KCRW. That's 89.9.
Okay.
FM.
He's still on KCRW. Okay.
You can listen to it online too.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great development in radio. I mean, if I try to listen, I'll speak for myself. If I try to listen to regular AM or FM radio, in my car, for example, I'm going to get biased talk shows on AM,
Yeah.
and on FM, there's just too many doggone commercials, and it just lacks the kind of character that I remember from B. Mitchell Reed or Stephen Clean or,
Yeah.
DJs of that ilk, Jed the Fish. Those guys were my idols.
Yep.
Back in the day, they were really good at introducing us to new music. Rodney Bingenheimer, as weird as he is, was I don't know if he's still alive, but he did a really good job of giving new local bands some radio time, some attention. So that's my report for today.
Well, if I can throw in a couple from my end of the continent.
Please do.
There's a station here in Rochester, WBER, which is the alternative station, but it's like a lot more eclectic than someone like K-Rock. They play wild stuff. I mean, they play, a lot of the familiar stuff too, but they've got their latest hits. But for example, they regularly play Supper's Ready by Genesis on the alternative station.
That's out of Rochester?
It's out of Rochester.
Oh, cool.
One of the cool things is that it's associated with a couple of local high schools. So in the afternoon, they have high school students playing
nice.
DJ, which you get a really interesting eclectic mix from them, because their concept of what's alternative is a little different from yours and mine.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And they also, just a memorable thing. Okay, some of you know Mona Jean and her husband Jeff Boynton.
Oh yeah, Dad knows them.
Yeah. Back in the early 80s, he was in a band called Wasmo Naris.
I remember that band.
WBER played one of their songs just the other day. And
Wasmo Naris, wow.
Where did this come from?
Mona Jean Cedar's going to be our special guest on Sunday afternoon.
Oh,
on
nice.
this very channel.
Okay.
For those of us who know how to get into this channel. Just thought I'd throw that in.
Very cool. I
I
need to tell her that I'm learning how to swear in American Sign Language.
There you go. There is a local public radio station called WRUR that used to do NPR, but now it's just solid music all the way through. And they have
that's the way the Northridge station is kind of.
Yeah, and they have they have specific shows at specific times. One of my favorite is called Whole Lot of Shakin', which is like based on 60s style music, but it plays really modern stuff too that sounds like it's from the 60s. They also have a show on Saturday afternoons for a couple hours that I don't listen to a lot, but all Italian music. Hours of Italian music.
Nice.
So, and then the third one I would mention is Wayo, WAYO, that is freeform as you can get. They have a bunch of DJs. Each DJ gets 1 to 2 hours, and they literally play whatever they want. There's no restrictions. I mean, they've got the language restrictions, but you'll get like an hour of noise or an hour of freeform jazz or just crazy stuff. So
when I was at UC Irvine, I walked in. I found out that there was a campus radio station. I walked in, and there was a guy sitting at a desk, and I pointed to the guy behind the glass, little on the air sign. I said, I want to do that. He goes, well, you go get your 3rd class radio operator's permit. You have to pass the test, elements 3 and 9. I think it was 3 and 9. So I studied for the test. I passed the test. I brought my license in, and he gave me the longest time shift of anybody at the station. It was from, get this, 3 in the morning to 8 in the morning on Saturday night, Sunday morning. It was perfect. I got so many calls. I learned so much about music from all the stoned people that radio station reached. It was so much fun. They had a great record library. I would bring my friends in, play records and stuff. It was really a blast. So I have a special place for college radio.
Yeah.
What was the call letters of the Rochester station?
WBER is one.
Okay, got it.
WRUR is the
Got that one.
Okay, and
yeah.
WAYO.
Yeah, just the first one.
Yeah, okay.
And to answer today's trivia question, alive or dead, living,
Who is it?
Oh,
that's Rodney
Bingenheim.
Bingenheim.
Wow.
Who's-
He's 76.
Yeah, I kind of thought he was still alive. I know that
Who-
he's
who is
no
that?
longer a DJ on
Rodney
there. but-
Bingenheimer,
Oh, good, good,
Yeah.
good. That's cool.
living.
Nice.
There's a
Okay,
documentary on him.
I saw it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Doesn't
Yes.
X open the documentary?
I think so. I forget now, but it was a great documentary and
This is the episode that never ends.
it ended
Okay,
now.
scary moves.